Hi, I'm Helen and I'm a yoga teacher that teaches classes for midlife women. If you're experiencing the menopause and those heavy kind of symptoms like weight gain, lethargy, low mood, then this class is for you. We'll work on some balancing, some strength building, some twists to give us some energy, some core strengthening poses, and in general, a class to lift your mood. Props that you'll need today, just one block, and I'll see you on the mat. We'll start today's class sitting on the heels. So I'm actually sitting on a block here, which makes it a little bit more accessible. You can always roll up a blanket or have a bolster or a cushion and put that underneath the sit bones to enable this a more easeful seat. So sitting with the spine straight, shoulders relaxed, chin parallel to the ground. We'll start with a mudra. So mudra is a hand gesture that channels the different energies of the body. So take the ring finger and you'll fold it down to the base of the thumb. Then take the thumb and press down onto the top of the ring finger. The other three fingers are just relaxed. Bring this to the lap with the palms facing upwards and just close the windows of the eyes and start to turn inward and settle here on your mat. So this mudra is called Surya Mudra. Surya is the sun, and the ring finger represents the earth element. So the earth element is very heavy, and this class today is all about these heavy symptoms that we experience during the menopause: low mood, lethargy, weight gain. Very heavy symptoms. The thumb represents the element of fire. So when the ring finger is depressed by the thumb, this means the earth energy is bowing down to the power of fire and the power of the sun, and it helps re-enliven us. So anytime you're feeling a bit low or a bit lacking in energy, this is a really good mudra to do. And just breathe here, noticing how you feel, maybe bringing your attention to the parts of the body that are in contact with the earth. Tuning in to see if there's anywhere that you're holding any tension. Usually, as women, we hold a lot of our tension in the jaw, the neck, and the shoulders. This is actually called the emotional triangle. So if you're feeling tension in those places, just mentally send the breath there, signaling the body that it's okay to let go and relax. Nice even breaths. Now is a good time to silently thank yourself for taking time out on your mat today and doing something good for yourself. During this season of our lives, it's really important that we nurture ourselves and are kind to ourselves. And doing a yoga practice is really one of the most beneficial things you can do for yourself. It targets the body, the heart, and the mind. Just a breath or so more here. And then with a soft gaze, slowly open the eyes. Release the mudra. Maybe you want to shake the hands out, shake the arms out. And we'll just work on opening up the spine in the different planes that it moves in. So place the left fingertips on the floor next to the left hip, a bit like a tree frog. And inhale this right arm across the face and out of the right shoulder. So the body is leaning over to the left. Ground that right sit bone. The head can face forward or you can look down, whatever feels good for your neck. And remember, you're on a side plane here, so don't lean forward. We're leaning out of the waist and over to the left. So this opens up all of the sides of the ribs, those intercostal muscles that protect our breathing apparatus and give us, allow us to open and close our rib cage. Then inhale, come back up, and we'll come over to the other side, bringing this left arm across the face and then out of the shoulder. Tree frog in the hand, maybe looking down or straight forward, reaching out of the waist, grounding that left sit bone and feeling that stretch all down the left side body. Then inhale, come back up. Exhale. Inhale, arms up to the sky, and as you exhale, rotate around to the left, so the right hand comes outside the right knee, left knee. Maybe you have a tree frog in your left hand. Lengthen out the spine as you inhale, and then rotating as you exhale. Nice even breaths, not worrying about twisting really deep, we're just warming up still. Then inhale the palms up to the sky, and then exhale, rotate round to the other side. Lengthen as you inhale, and then rotating as you exhale. So twists are actually very energizing. They're really good things to do when you're lacking in energy. I did hear once someone say that if you only get to do one yoga pose a day, make it a twist, because it's so beneficial to the body. Then inhale, bring the arms back up to the sky, and then release on the exhale. We'll move into the three-part Daoist breath now. So I'm going to face this way on my mat. It might be a little easier to do if you don't have a prop between your heels. So sitting back on the heels, spine is straight, and on an inhale, the arms will lift with the palms facing up to the sky. As you exhale, cross the wrists behind the head and then push the arms out to the side. So it's almost like you're in Star Wars and you're in the rubbish compactor and you're pushing the walls apart, trying to stop being crushed. And then inhale, fingertips come to the shoulders, chest lifts, maybe the head comes back. And then as you exhale, round forward, pushing out of the shoulders with the palms facing away from you. Inhale, palms flip to the sky and the arms come back up again. And then exhale, folding from the waist, come down into a child's pose. You inhale, the elbows come back by the hips and then palms lift to the sky, and we'll do it again. So as you exhale, crossing the wrists behind the head, pushing out to the side. Inhale, fingertips to shoulders, lift the gaze to the sky. Exhale, rounding forward. And inhale, flip the palms back up to the sky. Exhale, bow down to child's pose. Inhale, elbows to the side, palms come up to the sky. Again, wrists cross behind the head, push out to the side as you exhale. Inhale, fingertips to shoulders, chest lifts. Exhale, round in the spine, pushing it away with your hands. Inhale, flip the palms back up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward into child's pose. Inhale, elbows to the side, palms lift again. Again, cross the wrists behind the head, pushing out to the side. Inhale, fingertips to shoulders, open the chest. Exhale, around the spine, pushing the hands away. Inhale, palms lift. Exhale, bow down to a child's pose. Inhale, elbows to the side. Bring the arms back up. And we'll do one more round. So crossing the wrists behind the head, pushing out to the side. Fingertips to shoulders, look up. Exhale, round the spine, pushing the hands away. Inhale, flip the palms back up to the sky. Exhale, forward into your child's pose. Inhale, elbows to the side, back up to the sky. Bring them together in a prayer and bring them down the center line and just rest the hands on the lap. Maybe you come into that mudra again with the ring finger at the base of the thumb, thumb pressing down on top of it, other fingers released, and just observe how you feel. I can feel a lot of energy in the chest area. In yoga, we call this prana. It's our life force energy. Notice the breath. Maybe your heart is beating faster than the start of class. I know mine is. And then with a soft gaze, open the eyes if they're closed and just shake out the hands. And we'll come forward into plank. So hands are directly underneath the shoulders. Really get a good base here. Step one foot back. Tuck in the toes and then the other. Protract the shoulder blades so you've got this rounding in the upper back. Engage the core, the front of the body, including the legs. And we'll hold here for 5 breaths. So one of the symptoms of menopause is weight gain. And I don't know about you, but I gained a lot of weight around my middle. And this is because when the estrogen falls, it affects the way our body stores fat. And we tend to store it during menopause around the belly area. And this can be quite dangerous to women. It increases the chances of heart disease and diabetes and cancer. And then inhale, the hips come back and we'll come into downward facing dog. So maybe pedal out the feet a little bit here. Grounding into the base of the knuckles. Noticing your breath. If you wanted to take a child's pose, you can take a child's pose here. Planks use a lot of energy, but they're so great for building strength in the body, building stamina, helping with our bone density, these body weight bearing exercises as we age. Obviously this decreases and we also lose muscle mass. So it's really important to exercise in a way that you are holding your own body weight and strengthening the muscles and bones. We'll do some plank rolls now. So this is great for toning up the core. Take a big inhale and a big exhale. And then as you inhale again, roll forward on the toes to plank. Then exhale, move from the core back into downward facing dog. So be mindful that the movement is coming from the belly. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale, back downward facing dog. 3 more of these. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale, using the belly, back to downward facing dog. 2 more. Forward to plank, making sure those shoulders are protected. Exhale, back to dog. 1 more time. Inhale forward to plank. Then exhale, back to downward facing dog. Bring the knees down and just maybe shake out the wrists a little bit. And we'll move into side plank. So the poses we're working on today are all about strengthening the core, working the sides of the waist, raising our energy levels, raising our mood. So come forward to tabletop, hands and knees, and then extend this left leg out to the side so you're rotating on the knee. The right foot comes behind, so the toes are level with the knee, and we'll come into side plank. So the hand is directly underneath the shoulder, lifting out of the waist, bringing the pelvis forward, and maybe releasing this right arm up to the sky. So this is a modified version of side plank, and it's really great for toning up the sides of the waist. You can stay here, or you can lift up and stagger the feet. If you want to go a step further, you can stack the feet. So this is a little bit more challenging. And we'll breathe here. So really stacking the shoulders, using the breath, engaging that left side body, so pushing the hips up to the sky. And then bring this knee back down if it's not already. Plant the right foot and we'll come up into gate pose. Arms are out to a T. Bring the right hand down on the outside of the left leg. Reach this, the right leg. Reach this left hand across. Should be feeling it in the left side body. Reaching out of the waist. And inhale, come back up. And we'll return to side plank. So you can keep this knee on the earth if that's your level. And lift the right arm to the sky. And as you exhale, it'll round under and tuck. So you can do this with stacked feet or staggered feet. A little bit more challenging. Inhale, right arm to the sky. And then exhale, curl under. So really be mindful of your waist here. Keeping that left side engaged. And exhale, under. Inhale, lift. 2 more of these. Exhale and under. Last one. And then come back to hands and knees and we'll do the other side. So I will face this way so you don't see my back. Rotate on this right knee so the right shin is perpendicular to the end of the mat. Left foot is in line with the right knee. Hand directly underneath the shoulder. Arm elevated towards the sky. You can stay in this position. You can stagger the feet or you can stack the feet. Try and do what you did on the first side. And breathe here for 5 breaths. So lifting the hips to the sky. Breathing deep. Putting the mind into the right side body, so you're using that waist to push the hips up. And then come back down with the knee. We'll move into gate pose. So arms come out to a T. Left foot is in line with the right knee. Left hand on the outside of the left leg and reach over out of the right side waist, coming into this side stretch. Deep breaths. And inhale back to gate. Hand comes down and we'll come into those curl unders. I've forgotten the name. So remember the position you did on the other side. Mirror that now. Inhale, lift the arm to the sky, and as you exhale in a curl under. 5 of these. 2. 3. 4. And 5. And now we'll come back up and come back into tabletop. From here we'll plant the hands, tuck the toes, move into downward facing dog for 1 breath. Nice inhale, nice exhale, and then come up onto the tiptoes and walk towards the front of the mat. Just maybe hang here in a forward fold in ragdoll. Grabbing the elbows, maybe swinging side to side. Really lengthening the hamstrings here. You can always bend the knees if that feels better. And then place the hands on the hips, using the strength of the core, come up with a straight back. We'll move into a little sequence now to get our energy flowing, work on some strengthening and maybe a little balancing too. So bring the big toe mounds together. I'm coming into chair pose. So on an inhale, sit the hips back, touch the floor so you get the depth of your chair, and then inhale, arms come up to the sky, and then bring them out straight in front of you. So this is old school chair, the way chair used to be done. And hold here for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Stand up, arms release down. Again, inhale to chair. And from here, locking the inner legs together, including the ankles, come up onto the toes. So you're in a toe balance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release the feet down and come back up to standing. Again, inhale, chair. And then keeping this left leg bent, bring the right knee into the chest. Bring the hands to the chest. And then as you exhale, maybe you can tip forward, coming into a warrior 3 with the prayer at the heart. And then step back into a lunge. Bring the hands down. And then plant the right hand under the right shoulder and open this left arm up to the sky. 5 breaths here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, this hand comes down and we'll step forward, forward fold. Inhale, palms come up, palms to chest. Again, inhale into chair. Then bring this left knee into the chest. Maybe bring the palms to the heart. And then come back into warrior 3, standing on the right leg. Tipping from the waist and then releasing the toes back to the earth. Plant the hands. Come into this low lunge twist. So right arm extends up to the sky. 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bring this hand down. Put all the weight in this front foot. Back 1 steps forward. Inhale, come back up. Moving on. Inhale, chair. Arms out to the side. Lift the right knee into the chest. Come forward into warrior 3, maybe palms to the heart. Release this back into a lunge, and this time we'll stay up and come into high lunge. So arms are up to the sky. These front ribs are in. So imagine you're bringing the ribs to the top of the pelvis and hold here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Open the arms out to a T and we'll rotate towards this bent leg. So holding here for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale back to center. Arms come up. Grounding down into this front foot. This one steps forward. Palms to chest. Again. Inhale, bend the knees. Come to this chair pose. This time, all the weight comes into the right foot. Bring the palms to the chest. Reach back into warrior 3. Doesn't matter what it looks like. And then step back, high lunge. Arms come up to the sky. 5 breaths. 1. Tucking those front ribs in. Shoulders away from these. Arms are nice and straight. This is a really great pose to build strength in the legs. Holding our body weight. And the twist just brings an extra energizing factor to the practice. And then arms come out to a T, and rotate the body to the side, to the bent knee. Arms are still at a T, hold for 5. You can look over this back hand if that feels good. Trying to keep the spine straight, front knee bent, back leg straight and strong. And then inhale, come back to center. Arms come up, step forward, palms to chest, Samastatihi. Moving on, inhale to your chair. Arms come directly out from the shoulders. Lift this right leg into the chest. And maybe this time you keep the arms extended for warrior 3, or bring them out to the side like an aeroplane. Allow the toes to float back as gracefully as possible. Inhale, the arms come up to the sky. And then this time we'll bring the palms to the chest. Lean forward out of the waist. Lift this right elbow and try and keep this side of the waist really long and reach around and maybe hook the outside of the left knee coming into this twist. So keeping the pelvis neutral. The twist is coming from the spine, lengthen out of the waist, and the gazing point, if it's available to you, is over the left elbow. Breathe here. And then as you inhale, move back to the center before you come up, and then bring the hands up, ground into this front foot, and we'll come forward. Samastatihi. Again, inhale, knees bend, arms out to a shoulder width. This time the left knee comes into the chest. Maybe you keep the arms extended, maybe they go into aeroplane. Fold forward for warrior 3. It's okay to keep the standing leg bent. The arms extended is the hardest version. And then with grace, land in your high lunge. Palms come to the chest, lengthen out of the waist, lift the left elbow, really lengthen the left side body, and then reach and hook. Pressing the palms together, extending the spine, and breathe here. So I'm actually really sweating now. These twists are very heating in the body. They can make your breath quite labored because obviously you're constricting your chest area. But just go with it. Try and keep equanimous in the mind. The lessons we learn on our yoga mat when we're in these challenging positions can really spill over into our everyday life. See if you can remain composed when you're contorted, and when you come across some contortions in your daily life, tune into that breath and you'll be fine. Inhale, bring the body back to neutral before you come up. Hands come up to the sky. Step forward. Samastatihi, and just bring the palms to the chest. Close the eyes and breathe. Maybe take a deep inhale with an exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Let it go. From here, we'll make our way down to the earth. So there's several ways to get there. Let's build on from that chair pose and see where it takes us. So on an inhale, get the depth of your chair. Arms come out. Maybe bring them to the chest. Come up onto the balls of the feet, keeping the spine straight. See if you can lower down, legs are locked together to the heels, touch the glutes. The glutes come to the heels, I should have said. Breathe here. So this little toe stand can be quite challenging. It does involve a very deep flexion of the knees. It involves balance, it involves the core. And then maybe release the heels down and then the seat. And come to the center of the mat. We'll come over onto the knees and move into camel pose. So camel is a great pose to bring energy to the body, especially all around this chest area. It opens us up, and back bends are very exhilarating and enlivening. So when you have a low mood, a back bend is a really great thing to do to just give yourself a little boost. So coming up onto the knees, so you may have to double fold your mat to pad the knees. Tuck the toes and just bring the hands to the hips to start with. So knees are going down directly from the hips, so they're not together. Pelvis is neutral, shoulders are back and down, and then bring the hands just to your jeans pockets with the fingers facing upwards and breathe here. So start to think about lengthening the spine, and then maybe you can start to tip back using the support of the fingers, descending the tailbone, lifting the chest to the sky. I think it's better to keep the head upright. So I see when some people do camel, the head goes right the way back. I personally don't do that anymore. I don't think it's very good for the neck because the head weighs quite a lot. Opening the chest and then come back up, sit back on the heels, maybe bring the fingers into the mudra, so the ring finger at the base of the thumb pressing down. Just sit here for a moment. And we'll do camel again. You can do that same version, or you can move on to the fuller one. So inhale, come back up. Tucking the toes. So with the toes tucked, the heels are easier to reach. Place the left hand on the left hip. Inhale this right arm up to the sky. And as you exhale, reach back, and maybe your right hand comes to your heel. You can also use blocks here. So these are a little bit higher. The hand can come to the block. Lift the left arm up to the sky, and then maybe reach round and grab the left heel. Pushing the pelvis forward, chest is lifting. Keep the head up and breathe here. So imagine there's a golden cord at the center of your sternum, and it's pulling up towards the sky. So you've got this lift here. Maybe close the eyes. And then when we come out of this pose, we come up through the center, so keeping the spine straight, engage the core, use the strength of the quads, come up, release the feet, and sit back on the heels. So don't lean forward. Maybe come into this mudra again, recognizing the energy of fire, lifting us out of the inertia of earth. We'll do one more camel. So you can stay with either of those two versions, or if you would like to go a little bit deeper, we can do it with the feet flat to the floor. So inhale, come back up. Making sure the knees are directly underneath the hips. With the feet flat, it's a little bit further to travel. So if you know you do that in your practice, maybe you try that. Right hand comes to right hip. Inhale this left arm to the sky. As you exhale, the left hand comes around, finds the heel or the block, pushing forward from the pelvis. Inhale the right arm up. The right hand comes around. 5 breaths. So making sure you can still breathe in this pose. If you're ever in a posture, always make sure you can breathe. You never sacrifice the breath for a pose. Maybe close the eyes. And then on an inhale, we'll come out of the pose through the middle. Sit back on the heels. One more time, Surya Mudra. Closing the eyes. Observing the body. Where can you feel that prana? How do you feel in the mind? If you're beating yourself up because you couldn't access the pose to the degree that you wanted to, just let that go. It never matters. It's a yoga practice, not a yoga perfect. Sometimes we find that there are poses we used to be able to do, but can't do them anymore. Myself, I've noticed that over the last couple of years, I have lost some flexibility, but I'm 53 now, so I have to accept that my body's changing, that it is the natural path of life, and just be content and present with who I am today. And then slowly open the eyes, shake out the hands, and we'll come into an inversion, which is great for elevating the mood. And I see the sun has come out, so maybe this Surya Mudra works. So come forward and bring the sit bones to the earth. I'm going to tuck my t-shirt in a bit. And shoulder stand should be avoided if you have eye problems or you've got problems with a disc in your back. If that is yourself, then I recommend you do Viparita Karani, which is extending the feet up to the sky like this. You can even actually do it on a block. So this is a very therapeutic pose. I've done this in my other menopause yoga videos that I have. If you are doing a shoulder stand, then come with me. So bend the knees and bring the feet flat to the floor. Shoulders are wide. So remember, this is shoulder stand and not neck stand. And we'll come into a half shoulder stand. So bringing the knees into the chest, using the strength of the core and the arms. Then bring the hands on your, haunches. Elbows are parallel as you can make them. Rest the weight of the body on the hands. Keep the core engaged as well. Legs are engaged, and breathe here. If you want to do full shoulder stand, feel free. Imagine there's an orange between your chin and your chest. And try not to move the neck in this pose. Just breathe. So turning the body upside down is so great for our lymphatic system, the heart, the circulation. Gravity helps everything flow around the body. It floods all fresh blood to the brain. Without putting any strain on the heart. And then from here, if it's available to you, see if you can bring the toes to the earth behind you. So if you can reach the toes to the floor, then bring the tops of the toes to the floor. Maybe bring the arms flat behind you with the palms face down on the mat. If you are hovering, that's fine. You might want to still support the back. Breathe here in this plough pose, Savasana. And then to come out, we'll roll down one vertebra at a time. So you're in an upside down forward fold, using the strength of the core. Gently release the hips to the earth, and then the legs can come down. Once your feet come down, place the feet on the floor, lift the hips, and then place the hands face down underneath the hips. So you're laying on your hands and arms. Extend the feet straight, ground into the elbows, and then the chest comes up to the sky. The head comes back, resting gently on the floor, but not taking all the weight. The weight is being supported in the elbows, and breathe here. So this is Matsyendrasana fish pose, and it is the counter pose to shoulder stand and plough pose. And it is said that if you do not do this after those poses, then you'll be irritated for the rest of the day. So we don't want that. I always do this pose every time I've done a shoulder stand. It feels so good. And then lift the head, take the weight in the elbows, and descend the body back to the earth. Bring the feet as wide as the mat, and just allow the knees to knock together for constructive rest. It might feel good to windscreen wiper the knees from side to side. It's always a good thing to do after any kind of back bend. It helps reset the spine. Being gentle with yourself, mindful movement. Then bring the knees into the chest one by one. Give yourself a little squeeze. Arms are going to come out to cactus. And then allow the knees to fall gently over to the left side of the body, keeping the right shoulder planted. Maybe looking over the right shoulder. And breathe here. And then back to center. And then knees over to the right, looking over that left shoulder. And breathe here. So as we age, our metabolism slows down. So this leaves us prone to gaining weight. So it's a good time to be mindful about what you eat, reducing sugar and alcohol, which is basically sugar. Also reducing stress, because the stress hormone cortisol leaves us prone to gaining weight if we produce a lot of it. Making sure you get enough sleep, making sure you drink enough water, making sure that the things you eat are nutritional, not empty calories. And the knees come back up to the center. If you're craving any kind of other pose in the body, now's the time to do it. A little bit of movement. Before we come into final relaxation. So allow the feet to come down one by one. Extend the legs out so the feet flop open, palms to the sky. Shoulders are down the back. Chin is slightly tucked with the back and the neck long. Eyes are closed. Jaws relaxed, tongue is relaxed. The earth is here to support you. Allow yourself to surrender on your mat and let go. Start to tune your ear in to the furthest away sound that you can hear. And then tune your ear to the nearest sound that you can hear. Gently start to wiggle the fingers and toes, bringing some life back into the body. Maybe rotating the thighs in the hip sockets, in and out. Then bringing the hands together, interlace the fingers, stretch overhead, the feet in the opposite direction. And when you're ready and it feels good for you, slowly roll over onto your favorite side. Bringing the palms together like a pillow under the cheek. Just settle here for a moment. And then when you're ready and it feels good for you, with the eyes closed or at a soft gaze, come back up to a comfortable seat. Bring the hands in the mudra again, so bring in the ring finger to the base of the thumb depresses the ring finger, other fingers are relaxed. Place the backs of the hands on the knees, the palms facing upwards. This represents uplifting, receiving, energy, invigoration, all those things that we want to invite into our life at this time. Then bring the palms together at the chest, thumbs into the heart chakra, Anahata, the center of universal love. Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope you feel a little more energetic, a little more elevated in the mind, and can feel the fire growing in your soul. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Thank you for practicing with me today. I do have a couple of other menopause yoga classes, one for hot flashes and night sweats, anger surges, all those fiery symptoms. And there's also one for what I call the flighty symptoms, which are mainly cognitive, brain fog, overwhelm, anxiety. So if you're experiencing those symptoms as well, please check them out. It's kind of impossible to do a yoga class to target all of them because the different poses are used for different things. So if you're experiencing those symptoms, then please check it out. And thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your day.